All right. I have boys. Trying to keep them quiet. Trying to get this last video in for game tonight. So let's get to it. We're gonna be talking about the Belkin today. So the Belkin, they are the second largest crime syndicate, masking as a guild within the city of Ice Helm. They are, by numbers, the smallest. They only claim to truly have 20 members within their organization itself, but they control the utilities and sanitation within the city of Ice Helm itself. So all of your electricity, all of your plumbing, and trash disposal are all handled by them. Now, they claim that they themselves are not actually in control of these particular items. They simply represent labor unions that manage all of these resources itself. But from anyone that is familiar with the situation within Ice Helm or the guild itself, they are most definitely in control of absolutely everything that has to do with these aspects of Ice Helm society. Unlike the other guilds within Ice Helm, the Belkin are entirely Elvan. There's about 20 members within the organization itself that are true, actual Belkin members. But when you actually take their full labor force into size, the unions that they represent, they do comprise around 6,000 to 7,000 individuals. But just these 20 people who are the front office, if you will, of these labor unions, they're the ones that call all the shots and really are in control of the organization. A couple of questions that are brought up then with this is, A, why are they exclusively Elven? And then 2, why are they in control of something that's may not necessarily be the most glamorous of professions, especially for elves. When you think of elves, you think of librarians, historians, think of spellcasters. Well, that's actually where it is. They use this as a guise. They use the control that they have over these labor unions that have all culminated underneath them, specifically for magical purposes. That is what they are known for. They are known for being the guild, the crime syndicate that deals with, they are the individuals that are known to traffic in illicit magical items and spells and services itself. So if you need a curse put on someone, or you need a convict raised from the dead, things like that, that's exactly what these individuals are for. And they're able to use these cogs that keep the city running as leverage to gain the ends that they're designed for their clients itself. So that's really why they've gotten into this particular situation. You come to them, you need someone assassinated, they put a magical curse or tonic through the water system that is targeted for one individual person. That person takes a drink of water, next thing you know, they're suffering from some type of cardiac arrest or anaphylactic shock, things that are untraceable back to an individual person. So this is really what they use this power for. So their ultimate goal within Ice Helm is not actually control of the city itself. They don't particularly care about Ice Helm. It's simply an area where they've been able to excel and further their other goals. So the Belkin are all from Faria. It's not exactly like the Feywild. The Feywild doesn't really exist within Hyperion. It's a somewhat equivalent to this particular place. I akin it more to the Emerald Dream from World of Warcraft if you need some form of reference. So that goes into a whole additional story of what's happening with the elves and Corlan, but more or less, members of the Belkin are individuals who have been forced from Farai due to the ongoing corruption that is happening there, the physical corruption of the plane itself. These individuals are very highly motivated to get vast amounts of resources to reverse that corruption. We think they may have some other goal, but that's a more noble way of thinking of it, is that they're using this, exploiting all of these individuals in a land that they really don't care about in order to save their homeland. So on the surface, the Belkin actually run an incredibly clean, squeaky clean organization. It is very hard to pin any type of wrongdoing that has happened in the city to them. It's more of a sneaking suspicion that everyone has that they have some maniacal purpose behind them. And there are individuals who have worked with them who will recommend them, you didn't hear this from me, but go talk to so-and-so and they're going to hook you up. They'll take care of your problem for you. And they really maintain and hold on to this illusion of a squeaky clean organization as well. Anytime that there is corruption that is brought up, or someone points out that someone within the Belkin has done an assassination or was found with illicit magical items or other contraband of some sort or another, they are extremely quick to expel that member very publicly and denounce anything that they were doing. So they do not defend their members in any way, shape, or form. There is very much so a code: you're caught, you're done, you're gone for. And this has really made them be extraordinarily careful with who they deal with. It is very, very difficult to elicit their services, but due to that, you know that they are going to get the job done very well. They also have a very separate, very different form of payment due to the fact that they are from Faria. They are not within this world for very long. They haven't been here. Most members have been here for a very short period of time. For elves in general, I mean, it may be a couple hundred years, but for an elf, a couple hundred years is not that long. And due to this, they have a lot of the culture that is brought over from Faria, and there's a whole video in that I will get into. But the cost of their services tend to be a lot higher than most people would expect to pay for an item. And in general, by the time that you find out their fee, it's too late to have turned back for one reason or another. So let's talk about a couple of their members. They're currently led by a female elf called Yashandra Eversong. She is a gray silver-haired woman with white grayish, slightly green eyes and extremely prominent maroon red lips. She also has tattoos, as do all of the Belkin, that cover their entire bodies from essentially the neck all the way down to their toes. Very intricate, detailed tattoos that they have. She is always seen walking around in some type of formal wear or a very exquisite dress or some form of high society garb. An extremely well put together woman. You never see her not looking completely her best. She is the very public face and figure of the Belkin, and she is the one that anytime that they are brought up in the news, anytime that they need to be discussed at the Council of Guilds, she is the one that is there, and she is the silver-tongued individual who runs this entire organization. So like I said, all of the other members of the Belkin have a very similar look to them. A few of their other prominent members, you have Ilario Laughingwing. He is known as their negotiators, the big guns when something needs to be handled, when contracts need to be renegotiated, when the Belkin are put into public view and some type of reprimands needs to be made. He is the one who goes in, and he is known for being absolutely, completely ruthless with negotiations. He's someone that when you go in and you have to make a business deal and you see him sitting across from you, you know that it's already done. He is a blonde-haired, green-eyed individual, extremely well built for an elf. He does not have the normal slender appearance that an elf has. Again, tattooed completely from head to toe, coming directly up to the neck. He has piercings in both of his ears, and he is an extremely soft talker. You would not expect it coming from this individual, but while he might be a soft talker, the words that he says are like daggers. So Melanto Oversun, he is the labor organizer. Essentially all of the union heads report directly to him, and he is the one that will organize cross-union jobs that need to be handled for one reason or another. If it's a let's say, for instance, an assassination of multiple individuals on multiple different fronts, he's the one that's going to orchestrate it with all the different players that need to be informed in order to get the job done. So Coriandra Stillwater, she is known as Ishandra's right-hand woman. She is the bookkeeper and ultimately the one that does the reportings to the Guild of Numbers. So she is also a very prominent figure, and very rarely do you see Isandra without Coriandra by her side, so those two are fairly inseparable. Lastly, we have Liliana Barkskin. She is the head engineer for the Belkin. She is known by all the labor unions. She is the one who's actually responsible for setting up the grid that powers the entire city itself. Very, very prominent woman within the city. She's somewhat of a celebrity for kind of, think of someone like a modern day Tesla, or Elon Musk would be a good example of that. She is very, very well-known, prominent figure. Beautiful woman as well. She actually has violet hair with completely white eyes. She has no pupils or irises at all. It's just completely white. Very, very striking woman as well. Similar to the others, she's always, of course, very well dressed, and it's not easy to, you can't really miss her if she's out in public. So yeah, I hope that my children who refuse to be quiet through all of this were not too much of a distraction. I've got to find out when I edit this video. And yeah, it's a little bit about the Belkin. They're kind of a cool group, very difficult to get in with, but once you're in with them, they are able to open up a multitude of doors for you, because while they do primarily operate within Ice Helm, a lot of the services that they do offer are things that they're able to manipulate outside of Ice Helm itself. So for good or ill, they're a very useful organization to know about. So have any questions? Of course, ask me. If you're new here, for whatever reason you stumbled across this and you've managed to get through this entire video, then please comment below, ask any questions, check out other videos, and I'm going to see you guys later.